Hi everyone, welcome to Raised Reads. For the month of January, we have read Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. I chose this book because I've had it for a while and I haven't really taken the time to read it, but it was timely, it was intentional, and it was the best way to start off the year 2020. So I'm really excited to share some of the gems that I got from it with y'all, and will encourage you to read Year of Yes if you haven't. Alright, so first I want to start off with I am not an introvert. I am very much an extrovert. So starting off this book, when Shonda says that she was trying to do a year of yes because she's always saying no to things because she's an introvert, I was like, can't relate. However, I learned when to say no and when to say yes to things, because just because I'm an extrovert doesn't mean I need to say yes to everything, because my introverted side was like screaming to me to chill out. So that was one of the gems that I took away. I also want to point out, she says on page 21, I am miserable. Anne Frank, Malala, Mother Teresa never complained. Women, especially black women, have this unfair expectation of dutiful service and silence about struggle. So, just thinking about that, I know for me personally, I've grown up trying to please people, and like struggle wasn't really something you just go through, and you do it with a smile, you do it with grace, but that's not the reality, right? Like life is hard and it's unfair and terrible to ask black women to put that aside for the needs of others, because our needs matter as much. So that was one thing that I noticed that she was talking about, and how it's okay to ask for help if we need help. And I know when she was being being a mother, and like how people are like, oh, I do it all by myself, and this idea that we can do everything by ourselves, but no, we like actually need help, um, to safeguard our humanity, to safeguard our peace of mind. So like we actually do need that help. And so she talked about when she was talking to mothers, and like not understanding that it's okay to say that you get help and that you don't do it all alone. And on page 99, she talks about we are ashamed because we have been shamed. And I thought that was really powerful, because I feel women are held back, especially women of color, by being shamed by others. It might not necessarily be our shame, but it's the shame of society and what that means for our reality in life. And it's just mind blowing to think that our power is being shaped by society and not by us. And in this book, Shonda Rhimes challenges us to go beyond that and make our own reality, which I love so much. So back to me saying yes to a lot of things because of my introverted self. Saying yes to everything led it to like said like a 50% yes. It was never 100% yes, meaning I wasn't fully there because I had so many other things I was doing. Just thinking about like extracurricular activities and all of the things I signed up for, even looking at last year, my junior year, I was wearing myself very thin and wasn't taking care of myself because I was saying yes to everyone else. And those yeses weren't even 100% right. Like I wasn't even able to give my full um, attention because I had too many yeses, right? So whenever I say yes, which is what I'm working on, is presenting my best yes, right? So like, let my yes be my yes and my no's be my no, because like, I don't want to play with people's time. That's the number one thing about me. I don't like playing with other people's time. So being intentional about what energy I'm putting out and how much of that energy I have, and knowing myself enough to do that, right? Shauna talks about like how she she was talking about how she was on Jimmy Kimmel, right? And she was writing the speech and she said yes, and that was scary for her. But she was like just doing it to get it done. and not to put her best intention into the yes that she had decided for herself, right? And so that's what I took from it, saying like being vulnerable and being real and taking the time to put your intention in something, that is your best yes, right? And so I'm trying to make sure that every yes that I make is my best yes. It's not a half-ass yes, you know? Because I was saying yes to a lot of things and not giving my full attention and energy, I found myself very tired. And one of my friends had asked me, you know, like, what are your hobbies? And I was like telling them, you know, I watch Netflix, I hang out with my friends, we go out, things like that. And they're like, okay, cool, those are like active hobbies. What's your Zen hobby? Like, what keeps you peaceful? What isn't exerting a lot of energy, but is like calms you? And I had to sit there and I realized I did not have a Zen hobby. And I was like, you're right. Like, what, how much time am I just spending by myself? Um, and reflecting on just me being here. So, like, I started journaling more. I started making friendship bracelets because they're fun and, like, mind, you don't have to use your mind and it's just kind of peaceful. And I've started spending a lot more time with myself, which was the yes I had to say, the yes to myself. And it's been very transformative. I've been saying yes to myself this whole month of 2020, and I just feel more in love with who I am and at peace with who I am, and I even feel more productive, which is very interesting. Because I'm very forward focused right now because graduation and things afterwards, but I have found time to stay in the present and develop me, which will be so helpful for the future. And so I'm glad that I finally said yes to myself and not yes to so many external things that can fall by the wayside, because at the end of the day, I'll only have myself, you know? So that was another gem that I took from this. So I really loved how Shonda talked about her body, um, and how she talked about size not mattering. It was more about how she physically felt, right? And so, like, I know for me personally, like, people will say I'm fit, and I think my body looks fit, but I'm out of shape, okay? If you ask me to do cardio, if you ask me to run more than like 100 yards, I'm probably gonna cry and just give up. Cause it's not me, and I know I'm out of shape. And so saying that I'm fit is like, that's not it, right? And so, like, physically on the outside it might look good, but like physically inside, this, it doesn't feel good when I'm trying to run and I'm out of breath, right? And so I know it's way more about, it's not about size, it's about how you physically feel. And Shonda made sure that we understood that it was, she wasn't feeling healthy. And that was the main thing, and I really appreciated her honesty and her depth of understanding that it wasn't just about how her, what her size looked like, but that she felt physically unhealthy. Um, and like, I know for me, I want to be able to do splits and like eventually maybe run a mile again, like, and feel more in tune with my body. And I think that's what it is. Like, when you are saying yes to yourself, you're saying yes to being able to feel your body and like move in your body. And I know for me, I want to be able to do splits again. Like, I would love to be like Leah Janelle and be dancing all the time, but like that's not a reality, right? And so deciding that yes to yourself also means yes to your physical body and being able to move in it, because I think there's a lot of power in being able to know your physical body and owning it. So I want to talk about some of my favorite quotes and just kind of how I felt about them. So in page 186, she said, I'm scared people will think I like myself too much. Um, and I know that personally, that my confidence is kind of wavered by who I'm around, and that's real. Like, usually I come off as a very confident person, but sometimes it's like, this doesn't seem like the space where my confidence will be welcomed, you know? And that's a real fear. Like, people will think that you like yourself too much and you're like scared to be in that space, but like, forget it. You know, like, we deserve to own space. This is what I took from it. We deserve to take up space, right? And the space that we were allowed on this earth. So everywhere I go, why not be confident? Why not have my head up high? Why walk into a building with my head down? You know, like, these are little things that you can change, to show that yes, I do love myself, and that's not a problem. You know, like, that's a reality, and it needs to be everyone's reality, right? Shonda said no and thank you are complete sentences, and so you don't have to give anyone a reason for the boundaries that you set, right? So no, it's okay to say no and not say more than that, or have to make up a silly excuse, or like not be comfortable in your no. And then thank you, being comfortable with people recognizing you. Like, Shonda was having all of these awards and accolades, and she's just like, I'm just a writer. And she was way more than a writer, right? She has her own network, own, like, the whole day. So when do we finally take the time to recognize where we are and who we are, and be proud of that, and just say thank you when we get a compliment, right? Because we did work there. We are deserving. And I'll say it again, Black women are more than qualified, right? So that was something that really stuck with me. And I think what else I would add is that a lot of this was about finally having the attitude change, right? So you can't accomplish a year, yes, if your mind's not meeting your vision, right? So your vision is, oh my gosh, I want to be here. This is what I want my life to look like. But if your mind's not there, you're not going to move in the actions to do it, or you won't move consistently in those actions. And I can say I'm blessed that this past month I've been moving in year of yes, and my mindset is there. And I think life personally changed for me, and I decided, like, there's no other option but to live my best personal yes. Um, and that comes from everything that I do, right? And so I think it's also this point of transition where I'm moving on, out of college, and it's about what I, at the end of the day, I have myself, right? And I need to be comfortable with myself. I need to know myself and be ready to push forward. And so I've taken those steps to say yes to myself and no to so many other external things that try to tell me who I am, and really just listen to who I am. Listen to my body, listen to my mind, listen to my soul. And that's what I was really doing, taking the time to listen to those things, because I was so clouded by other things going on in my life. So it's about the attitude. It's about being willing to do it, because we can tell you all the tools and say, hey, these are the steps, this is how you become the year of yes, but it's really a mindset, that because it's your own personal journey. And so that was the biggest thing I took away from year of yes. So thank you all for staying here, listening to my gems. I hope you really enjoyed Year of Yes, and if you haven't read it yet, definitely go get it. It's definitely transformative. Next month, we will be, or February, we will be reading Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I'm really excited about that. If you want to stay tuned or join Raise Reads, the book club, where we read a book each month written by a Black woman, you can look in the link below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you. And that was just really funny for me, for that, like, blind excitement. No. Okay, we're gonna cut that. Cut it. She talks about being this Black woman that has her own. We're gonna start.